I bought a new car. Looks nice. The weather is gorgeous today. Let's go for a walk. It was really expensive and only a few people in the city have one. Looks nice. We should go to the park. It cost £100,000. Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, and I also went on 10 holidays. Bye. Talking about yourself is an important skill. It could be for a job interview, or it could be at a networking event, or simply meeting new friends. Someone could ask you, tell me about yourself. How do you see yourself? Or tell me about yourself in 3 words. Pretentious, pretentious. This is when a person seems to be more important than they actually are. Maybe they have a new fancy car and they want you to be impressed. Maybe they've had a job promotion and they feel really important and they want you to make them feel special and say, "Ah, you're amazing, you're so wonderful. What do you want to have for lunch? What do you want to have for lunch? What do you want to have for lunch? Pizza." Calm. A calm person is someone that doesn't worry so much and doesn't let stress get in the way. So if you have an exam or you have a meeting, or even when you have to meet new people, sometimes it's quite easy to feel stressed and anxious, but if you can be calm, then you can be more focused, you can allow your natural personality to come out, and it helps with other qualities as well. If you can be calm in a stressful situation, you can think clearly, you can strategize, you can think about, okay, I need to do this, this, and this, and you're more effective. So especially in the workplace, being calm can be a good thing because you are often having to multitask many different things. So if you can keep calm, you can be more focused and you can do your job better. Can I help you with your bags? I'm okay there, young man. I'll help you with your bags. No, it's okay. Let me help you with your bags. It's okay. Compassionate is to be kind and caring towards other people, especially when they are having a difficult time. So when you are compassionate, you may donate to charity. Even if you don't donate money, you could donate your time. It could be towards people, it could be towards animals, it could be even in a one-off situation where you see an elderly person who is struggling to carry the bags and you offer to help them. You could hold the door open because you see someone struggling to walk. When you're compassionate, you're showing some care and some kindness to another person. Excuse me, waiter, there's a fly in my soup. Don't worry, he won't eat much. Being assertive means that you can express your ideas, your opinions without offending other people. If you are talking with a group of people and lots of people are talking, and if you are assertive, you can respond to the other people, but you can also present your own ideas. Being assertive also means if you are in a restaurant and someone brings you food, and if the waiter brings you food and there's something wrong with the meal, often in the UK, people would just suffer and wouldn't complain and would just eat the food. But being assertive means telling the waiter, excuse me, I don't think this chicken is cooked properly. Would you mind checking it and changing it, please? So here you're being assertive and you're not just suffering and eating the chicken and getting food poisoning, but you're expressing your opinions in a polite way. Why so serious? Not today. Today I'm laid back. laid back, laid back. This is when you don't get stressed and you are calm. So if you have a test tomorrow, a laid back person may say, oh, don't worry about it, it will be okay. So being laid back can be a good thing. It can also be a negative thing if you are too laid back. And being laid back, you can maybe see this in someone's appearance. Maybe they are wearing flip-flops or they like to wear shorts. But it can also be in their personality. So if they are laid back, they're very calm, they don't get stressed about things, and often they're quite easy to talk to, and they can be good listeners as well. 2 plus 2 doesn't equal 5. I'm not always right, but when I'm not, I'm still not wrong. What? Arrogant. Arrogant. An arrogant person thinks they are better than other people. If a person is arrogant, then they would show this by not allowing other people to talk in a conversation. They would steer the conversation towards themselves all of the time. So they think that they are smarter than another person or better, and they want to show that. It's quite a negative trait. So how does it feel to win the Premier League? Yeah, it's good, but it's all about the team. How does it feel to win the Champions League, the World Cup, the Euros? Yeah, it's good, but it's all about the team. And how does it feel to win the Golden Boot? You scored the most amount of goals this season. You scored 100 goals. How does that feel? But it's all about the team. Being humble means that you don't think that you are better than other people and you don't show off. I think it's quite rare that a person would call themselves humble, but another person may call you humble. So you may be compassionate and helpful and kind, but you don't go around telling other people, hey, I helped this person today, look how humble I am. So that defeats the purpose. So a humble person, and you can think about people in your life or celebrities or people in media, and if you think about the actions that they take, so they're not looking for praise, but that's a byproduct. So that happens naturally by being humble. Creative. This is someone that thinks differently. It can be in different ways. It could be art, you could be a painter, you could be an artist, you could be a musician, so you like to create things. But even within analytical subjects like science or maths, I believe you have to be creative. I think being creative and analytical goes hand in hand. There's a Leonardo da Vinci quote that I really liked, which is to study the art of science and to study the science of art. So when you're being creative, it could even be in your fashion sense. Are you doing something differently? Are you wearing mismatched socks? Do you want to express yourself differently? It could be with your hairstyle, it could be with the clothes that you wear, it could be with many different aspects, not just thinking about music or art. Determined. This is when you don't let any difficulties stop you from doing something that you want to. It could be education. Maybe you are trying to study. Even learning English, you have to be determined because it's not easy. So you have to be determined and keep going, keep practicing, keep learning, and eventually you will get to your goal. To be determined is a good thing because it shows that you're not going to give up. Proactive. I think this is a really nice word. This is when you take action before a problem happens. So if you know you have a test in a month's time, Rather than studying the night before, you can say, right, I'm going to be proactive and I'm going to study half an hour or an hour every day. It could be things to do with your health. You could eat healthily, have good sleep, go to the doctor regularly for checkups, go to the dentist regularly. So you're proactive with your health. This shows that you don't need someone to tell you. So when you were a child, your parents had to tell you to brush your teeth, to do your homework. But now, as you get older, you can start to be more proactive. So you can think about, what do I need to do next to help myself? There's a nice expression which is, prevention is better than cure. So it's better to be proactive and think about, how can I improve my life before it gets so bad, and then you have to think about the cure. Being respectful. This is when you are kind and being polite to others. It's an important quality, especially in the workplace. If you are respectful, it means that you will listen to other people's point of view. You won't just say, my way is right and you have to listen to me. So it shows good communication skills. So you're able to understand what the other person wants. You're able to listen to their point of view. Empathetic. Empathetic. This is when you understand and share the feelings of others. So you feel it inside. If someone is suffering, if you see a homeless person on the street, you wouldn't just be considerate and offer to help. You would really feel sad and you would identify with their emotions. So being empathetic is good because you truly help that other person, because you feel their emotions. And it can be for positive emotions as well. If someone is happy and you're empathetic, you would feel that happiness, so it's almost reflected back. So being empathetic can be a good thing because you are relating to the other person or as a human being. You can develop a deeper connection to the other person. Analytical. Analytical. This means that you can look at a problem carefully and come up with a solution. Being analytical would mean that you wouldn't be stressed. You can look at a problem logically, you can break it down. It could be, for example, maybe you want to lose weight. So you could be analytical. You could come up with a menu. You could come up with an exercise schedule. So you could say, on Monday, I will eat this and I will do this type of exercise. And if it's not working, then you can go back to the drawing board, have another look at it and say, okay, maybe I need to change my workout, maybe I need to change my diet. So if you are analytical, you can reach your goal, you can solve the problem quicker. Adventurous, adventurous. An adventurous person is someone that likes to try new things and maybe take risks. They may like to go bungee jumping or skydiving, or it could just be trying different foods. You have some people that stick to the same routine of eating the same food. But if you are adventurous, you like to try new things, maybe travel to new places. If you tell someone that I'm adventurous, it sounds quite exotic, but you have to have the evidence to back that up. You can't say, I'm adventurous, I went to a new shopping center last week. So that doesn't sound as glamorous. Stingy, stingy. This is a person that doesn't like to spend money. If you go to the pub and everyone is buying rounds, so this is when people would take it in turns to buy a drink, the stingy person may leave it to the last round to buy a drink, because as people drink more, they would stop drinking, so that person would pay less. It's not just cost cutting, but it's to the extreme. If everyone is contributing money to buy a present for someone. A stingy person would contribute the least possible amount. Honest. Honest. An honest person is someone that tells the truth. So this means that they can be trusted. If you are seen to be an honest person at work, this can be a good thing because the manager and people would trust you, and then they would start to give you more responsibility. Charming. Charming. A charming person is someone that is likable and other people like to be around this person. It could be because they give compliments. Maybe they are a good listener. Maybe they're respectful. So here you can see some adjectives can go together. You can use them together. So if someone is charming, they know how to speak to people. A person could be a charmer. Now this has a negative connotation. So a charmer is someone that can manipulate other people. So they would be nice to people, maybe to get money or maybe to increase their social status, but they don't really care about the other person. Optimistic. Optimistic. A person that is optimistic is someone that thinks that good things will happen. If you are optimistic, you can think, yes, I am going to get fit. I am going to improve my English. So being optimistic means that you are full of energy. You know something good will happen. The opposite to being optimistic is pessimistic. Pessimistic. A pessimistic person is someone that always thinks something negative will happen. For example, if it's raining outside, a pessimistic person may say, it's raining outside, there's no point in going for a walk. However, an optimistic person may say, let's take an umbrella and let's go for a walk anyway because it's good for our health. Clumsy. A clumsy person is someone that is not coordinated. They may drop things all the time. They may bump into things. And sometimes a clumsy person may still be really smart, really intelligent, but they may be thinking about other things. So a clumsy person, for example, if you're carrying something on a tray or a cup of tea and you may drop it, or you may bump into things, or you may take the wrong, if you're driving, you may take wrong turns all the time and have to reverse the car and go back where you came from. Practical. This means that you are sensible and realistic. If you know that you want to improve in a certain area, by being practical means that you can make plans. It's not something which is a wish or a hope that this would happen. If you are practical, you can take steps to make this happen. Also, a practical person can be good with things like fixing the computer, fixing electrical items, or fixing things around the house, or fixing things with a car. Being practical as opposed to being theoretical means that you are good at using your hands to fix and solve problems. Generous. A generous person is someone that gives or shares more than that is expected. So if they're donating money or donating their time, they would give more than is expected. If you are going to a party, rather than just bringing something small, they would bring something more than is expected. If you go to someone's house and they keep giving you food and desserts without you asking, they are being very generous. Cheerful. A cheerful person is someone that is positive and optimistic. They may be smiling all the time. They may be thinking about the positive things. If things are going wrong and you are able to be cheerful, you can turn that situation around, or you can make it not feel as bad. So a cheerful person is someone that is happy, that is positive, that thinks, yes, I can make this work, I can improve the situation. Impatient. Impatient. An impatient person, that is someone that does not like to wait. Maybe they are in a queue and they're getting very impatient. Even if there's only 2 people in the queue, they can feel very impatient. Everything has to be done now, immediately, as soon as possible. You could be impatient to be fit, or you could be impatient to have a certain amount of money, or have a certain car, a certain object, which is only natural. But if you are too impatient, this can lead to extra anxiety and extra worry. So you can see here how some of these adjectives balance each other out. You can be laid back, but you could be too laid back. You could be impatient, but you could be too impatient. But these are some nice adjectives to use. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this lesson. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you so much. Hello, sir. Would you like the chicken or the chicken? Do you have any vegetarian options? We have chips or broccoli. Hello, I hope you're well. My name is Harry and this is Learn English with British Harry. I am British and I have taught thousands of students, and this lesson in particular has helped many of my students. This is English at the airport. Before going to the airport, there are some important things to consider. Are you going to book your ticket online, or are you going to go to a brick and mortar travel agent? So a brick and mortar means a physical shop that you can go into. Some of the benefits of booking online is that you can find a cheaper deal. A travel agent may be a bit more expensive. They may tell you, okay, we can offer you a bit more support. We may have a dedicated line that you can call us on if you need any help. That's why their prices may be a bit more expensive. A good tip for you is if you find a cheaper price online, you can go to the travel agent and ask them if they can beat allowed to leave the airport and explore the city. This can be done to encourage tourism. For example, on my way to Australia, I'm stopping over at Singapore for 3 days. This gives people an opportunity to maybe explore a city that they may not have thought about visiting before. A connecting flight. This is a flight that you take after your initial flight, and it involves a change of aircraft. So you're changing to a different plane. So a connecting flight doesn't specify the amount of time, just giving you information that you will have to change to a different plane. For example, my flight from London to Sydney involves a connecting flight at Dubai. So this is useful information to know, because maybe you don't want to have a connecting flight, maybe you want to fly direct, but usually the prices are more expensive for a direct flight. A connecting flight can be cheaper. Usually, from personal experience, if there's more than 2 connecting flights, it can get very tiring. So sometimes that extra cost for having one connecting flight is usually better because you don't feel as tired. A layover is a short stay at the airport, usually a few hours. So a layover is usually a shorter period of time. A stopover indicates a longer period of time, and a connecting flight doesn't specify the amount of time. The amount of time that you need to arrive at the airport before the flight may vary from country to country. Now you can also check in online and choose your seats online. So this is amazing because you can go onto certain websites and you can see what are the best seats, because some seats are quite bad, especially if they are close to the toilet and then you cannot recline your seats. So let me know in the comments below, do you do this? Do you book your seats in advance? And what seats do you prefer? Okay, so now you're at the airport. Now you may want to wrap your bags. There's special places you can go to and they can wrap your bag in clear plastic, and this can be done to protect your bag. Maybe you don't want your luggage to be damaged, so you can pay for that extra service. You could also weigh your luggage. There may be scales that you can weigh your luggage, or you can go to the check-in desk. So you have an option to go to a self-service kiosk where you can print out your boarding pass, and you can also print out labels for your bags. Or you can skip this and you can go straight to the check-in desk. So when you go there, they will weigh your luggage. Now, if the luggage is over the limit, they will charge you extra, or you could choose to take something out of your luggage. So also check your documentation and print out your boarding pass for you. So what is a boarding pass? A boarding pass is a ticket that you will be given, and you will show this before you go onto your flight so they can check your name, they know your seat number. Then you will go through the security check just to make sure that you don't have anything dangerous or sharp in your luggage. You may be asked to take out some toiletries or anything that's over a certain limit. So there will be clear signs around the airport giving you this information. Once you've gone through security and you're on the other side, it gives you a chance to relax. The restaurants on the air side will be more expensive than the land side. So this is a trade-off, because if you want to get to the airport early and don't want to have any stress of missing your flight, you'll have lots of time to kill. Now this means that you have lots of time to spare. So you're waiting for your flight. So you have a lot of time. And usually you will get hungry or thirsty, but the prices will be more expensive. And you won't be able to take any liquids or water through security. So you'll end up spending money at a restaurant or a shop. Duty free. A lot of products are duty free at the airport. So you could pick up things like chocolates or gifts or alcohol or even perfume and aftershave. I find that you can get some really good deals at these shops. The people on the plane are called the cabin crew. You will have flight assistants that will be able to help you, especially bringing your meals. You may even be able to order the type of meal that you want before the flight. So if you are a vegetarian, then you could specify that if that's very important to you. On the flight, you have different sections. You have economy, premium economy, business, and first class. So first class will be more expensive than economy, and you're paying for more space. So it's about what is more valuable to you. Do you want to save money, or do you want to have more space on the flight? Choosing your seat can be very important. You have a window seat and you have an aisle seat. An aisle seat is on the outside, on the perimeter. So sometimes in a plane structure, you'll have seats on the sides and a row of seats in the middle. On the sides, if there are 3 seats, you'll have a window seat, a middle seat, and an aisle seat. The middle seat is the worst seat unless you are traveling with people that you know, because it can be very awkward if you have to get up and go for a walk or go to the toilet. So when I was younger, I loved the window seat. Now I prefer the aisle seat because it gives me an opportunity to get up and stretch my legs. Let me know in the comments, what seat do you prefer? On the flight, you may experience turbulence. What is turbulence? It's when the plane starts to move, and it can feel quite scary if you don't know what's happening. You'll see the light come up indicating that you should put your seatbelt on, and the flight assistants would give you this information as well, that you should put your seatbelt on. If you're on the toilet, you should return back to your seat. You also have altitude. So when the plane is taking off or when it's landing, the air pressure can drop, and this can affect your ears. Sometimes I've had this issue, and what really helps for me is to chew gum or to drink some water. Seems to open up my airways. Do you have any tricks or tips that would help other people? You're almost at the destination. The plane is coming in to land on the runway. The runway is a big strip of land where the plane can land safely and it can also take off. You will have baggage reclaim, where you can collect your bags safely off the conveyor belt. It's quite handy to get a trolley first, and you can put your luggage on top of the trolley. It can be quite stressful sometimes trying to catch your luggage before it goes around the conveyor belt. Putting tags on your bags can be really helpful to identify your luggage very quickly. You also have immigration control, where you will show your passport and they will check your details and identification. Once you've collected your bags, you will go through customs. So here you have an opportunity to declare anything that you wish to, that's in your luggage that you brought from another country. If you don't have anything to declare, then you can just go straight through, and then you will arrive at the arrival section. When you're at the arrival section, you can then navigate your way wherever you're going. You could call a taxi or get public transport. So that was English at the airport. I would love to hear from you about your experience of traveling at an airport. Is it something that you like? If you enjoyed this lesson, please have a look at my lesson about English at the restaurant. I have also created an ebook for you. It's about 5 tips to improve your English speaking. And these are really helpful, practical tips that you can start using straight away to improve your English. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. Please write down in the comments what you thought of this video, even if it's hello. It keeps me motivated to see that people are enjoying these videos. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next lesson. How was your holiday? It was nice. How was the beach? The beach was nice. How was the food? The food was really nice. How were the people? The people were nice. It was nice. It was nice. Hello, this is Harry from Learn English with British Harry. We're going to look at some simple words. Now, firstly, it's okay to use simple words. There's nothing wrong with this. However, to improve, it's nice to learn about other words you can use instead. Nice is an overused word. You could say, the weather is nice. I had a nice weekend. The food was nice. So you can see here, it's nice to use other words instead, which can help to make learning English more fun and more colourful. How's your tea? This tea tastes marvellous. That's a toy teacup. There is no tea. That's hogwash. This is tea. This tea tastes absolutely marvelous. Enjoyable. This adjective means something that is fun or something that gives you pleasure. I had an enjoyable lunch. The basketball game was enjoyable to watch. Watching Learn English with British Harry is enjoyable. Gardening is enjoyable. Amiable. This means someone that is sociable or something that has pleasant qualities. Kate is so amiable, everyone loves being around her. Kate is very friendly, very sociable. When people are around her, they feel happy. So you can say she is an amiable person. And the waiter was extremely amiable, so I had a good experience. Here, the waiter was really friendly and it made going to the restaurant, the whole experience, so much better. The cafe had an amiable atmosphere. So sometimes when you go to a place and it's just really friendly, for example, the lighting or the seating, and you just feel, yeah, I really like this place. So it had an amiable atmosphere. Delightful. Delightful, this adjective means something that gives you pleasure. His performance was delightful. Maybe you went to the theatre or you watched a movie and the actor's performance was so good. So rather than saying his performance was nice, you can say his performance was delightful. The view was absolutely delightful. Maybe you've walked or hiked to the top of a mountain and you can see this absolutely delightful view. My weekend was delightful. You can go into more detail. You could say, I went to the park, the weather was really delightful. So you can extend your answers if you want to. Marvelous. The sunrise over the ocean was marvelous. You look marvelous. The presentation of this breakfast looks marvelous. This tea tastes marvelous. Let's have a look at the word evil. There are many different ways to describe this word. And on a side note, I've noticed that in a lot of movies, a lot of the evil characters are British, or they have a British accent, which I thought is quite strange. I don't know why that is. Nefarious. This means very bad or evil. Batman stopped the Joker's nefarious plan. The business was involved in some nefarious activities. So maybe the business wasn't paying its employees. Maybe they were throwing rubbish into the ocean to cut costs. So here they were doing something illegal, something evil. Malicious. Malicious. This is an interesting word. This means to cause harm to someone else on purpose. So you know that you are going to hurt someone else. For example, he wrote malicious comments on social media. Often you have people that write these evil and cruel remarks and comments to other people, and they know the person reading it will be upset and won't be happy. So they have an intent to cause harm. He spread malicious rumors about the other person. He felt hurt by the malicious comments about his artwork. Vicious. Vicious. Here my top teeth are touching my bottom lip. Vicious. This means mean or violent. The lion's attack was vicious. The storm was vicious. She made vicious comments. Vile, vile. This means very bad, or it could mean disgusting. He is a vile person. So maybe he did something very mean. Maybe he cut to the front of the line when there was a long queue. So he was doing something very bad. Or maybe you saw someone spitting on the street and you could say that person is vile. She said vile, horrible things. This old cheese smells vile. Another common word is surprised. You can use flabbergasted. Flabbergasted means extremely surprised or shocked. When he saw the size of the fish he caught, he was flabbergasted. He was flabbergasted when he won the lottery. The magician's trick left him flabbergasted. I was astonished by the price. I was astonished by the amount of food he could eat. We were losing the match 10-0 and I was astonished when we won. Startled. He was startled by the thunder. The sneeze startled the people in the library. Achoo. I was startled to see someone look like me. Hello, you look handsome. So do you. These are some nice words. Oops. These are some great words to use instead of some common words. But please remember, it's okay to use these words like nice, evil, and surprised. But just try to push yourself and you can write some sentences. So grab your notebook and think of some nice sentences that you can use. The more that you keep practicing, the better you will become at using these words. When you know the meaning of these words, you can start to play with them and use them in an ironic way for humor if you want to. For example, I could look at the weather. If there are grey skies, I could say, the weather is delightful today. When not really, but I'm using it in a way to create some humor. I could open the fridge and say, I was flabbergasted there was no butter. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments below and click on the like button. If you are new here, click on the subscribe button. Hello, my name is Harry and this is Learn English with British Harry. I am British and I have taught thousands of students to improve their level of English. To help you further, I have created a remarkable ebook with 5 tips to help you to improve your English. You can see the link for it in the description section. If you are watching this video, please write hello in the comments below. It is wonderful to see that other people are watching and enjoying these lessons. Now, is there anything wrong with using simple words? No, there isn't. However, by adding words to your vocabulary, it can increase your fluency and help you to express yourself better. Exceptional means unusually good, outstanding, or better than average. It can describe someone or something that stands out because of superior qualities or achievements. She is an exceptional student who consistently achieves high grades in all of her exams. His performance in the play was exceptional, receiving rave reviews from the critics. The craftsmanship of this handmade furniture is exceptional. Altruistic. This means having a selfless concern for the well-being of others. So you care more about how other people are doing rather than yourself. You really want to help other people and you're not doing it for personal gain. You're not doing it for selfish reasons. She is known for her altruistic behavior, putting the needs of others before her own. His decision to donate a large proportion of his wealth to charity was very altruistic. Volunteering at the homeless shelter is an altruistic act. So altruistic is a fantastic word. Rather than just saying someone is good, you're saying they're altruistic. It adds more meaning than just saying he or she is a good person. By being altruistic, you're not just using words, you're using actions. You're doing something to help someone else. You're not thinking about yourself. So if you're donating money or you're giving up your time to really care and do something for someone else. Superb. This means of the highest quality, excellent or outstanding. It is used to describe something that is extremely good or impressive. The chef prepared a superb meal that impressed all of the guests. His performance in the play was superb. He stole the show. We had a superb holiday in the countryside and we enjoyed the serene landscapes. Now, instead of using the word amazing, we can use the word astonishing. In British English, astonishing means extremely surprising or impressive, often in a way that is difficult to believe. It is used to describe something that causes great amazement or wonder. It was astonishing to see how quickly the technology advanced. If you went back 20 or 30 years ago and saw how the first mobile phone looked and you compared it to today, you would be astonished. The same could be said about AI. If we could go into the future and look at how AI could develop, we may be astonished. Her recovery after the accident was astonishing. She was back on her feet in no time. The magician's tricks were absolutely astonishing. Astounding means very surprising or shocking. It is a synonym of astonishing, but it's a bit more stronger. The speed at which the project was completed was simply astounding. So maybe there was a school project or a project for a company and it was completed very quickly, ahead of schedule, and everyone was astounded. They were shocked at how quickly the project was completed. The scientists made an astounding discovery that could change the field of medicine forever. So he was shocked at this discovery. The football team's comeback in the final seconds of the game was astounding. Maybe they scored the winning goal in the very last second and everyone was completely shocked. Remarkable. I love this word, remarkable. This means worthy of attention or notice because something is unusual, extraordinary, or exceptional. The painting is remarkable for its details and realism. I'm not sure about this painting, but it could be remarkable to some people. He has a remarkable talent for playing the piano. So remarkable attracts attention and admiration because something is exceptionally good. Stunning means extremely impressive or beautiful. The sunset over the ocean was stunning. She wore a stunning dress to the party and everyone commented on how beautiful she looked. It wouldn't really be used for a man. In this case, you would use handsome rather than stunning. Or you could use stunning if you wanted to. The singer gave a stunning performance. Phenomenal. This means extraordinarily remarkable or impressive. This describes something that is so remarkable that it exceeds people's expectations. The restaurant received phenomenal reviews for its food and service. So it wasn't just good or amazing, it was phenomenal. Her performance in the competition was phenomenal and she earned the gold medal. Instead of intelligent, you could use astute. Astute means to assess the situation or people and make quick and clever decisions. She made an astute observation about market trends that helped her company to make good investments. So if you are astute, you can assess the situation. Maybe she noticed some trends and she spotted a pattern. So she realized, okay, maybe if we make this decision, we can make more profit. The detective's astute analysis of the evidence led him to make a breakthrough in the case. When you're watching a movie or a thriller and there's a detective and he's trying to solve the case, this character will be very astute at assessing the situation and the people and using his instincts to solve the case. Perceptive. This is when someone is able to notice something that is not obvious to other people. Her perceptive comments during the meeting showed a deep understanding of the topic. So when you are perceptive, you are intelligent, yes, because you are understanding the complex situation. The teacher's perceptive nature allows her to understand the students better. For example, maybe there's a student that's a visual learner, so she could introduce more pictures, some more videos to help the student to learn in their particular style. So a perceptive person is someone that can notice and observe things very quickly. Insightful. This means having a clear and usually original understanding of a situation or a problem. She provided insightful analysis of the economic crisis that other people overlooked. So she was very insightful. She could solve the problem and she thought about things in a different way compared to other people. She was very insightful. His book is filled with insightful observations about modern society. So when someone is insightful, they have a very deep understanding of a situation. Ingenious. This means clever and original. The engineer came up with an ingenious solution to reduce energy consumption. So he solved the problem in an ingenious way. He was very creative and intelligent when he solved the problem. This new gadget is an ingenious device that makes cooking easier. For example, an air fryer, it makes cooking very simple and quick. So I hope you enjoyed learning about different words to use instead of these very simple words. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Do you understand English but you cannot speak?
I like action movies. What type of movies do you like?
I like thrillers. I like watching thrillers. I used to like watching thrillers. That's an interesting question, and there are many factors. Overthinking the type of grammar that you need to use can stop you from speaking naturally. So you spent a long time practicing grammar. Now when it comes to speaking, you cannot remember the correct tense to use. So make mistakes. To overcome that fear, remember when you were a child and you were learning anything, learning to walk, learning to talk, learning to eat. You would end up with food all over your mouth, all over your face. It's okay to make mistakes. It's a good thing. You want to be making lots of mistakes so you can learn from those mistakes. If you cannot remember the word, try to put the word not in front. You know the word for short, but you're not sure about this word. You could say not short. You remember the word for ugly, but you can't remember the other opposite word. So you could say not ugly. Now be careful who you use this with. You look not ugly. You can use expressions when you cannot think of the word. You could say, I forgot the word. The word escapes me. The whatchamacallit. I have a nail, but I need, yes, that's it. These expressions are so good because when you are speaking, the other person will naturally want to fill in that word for you, because usually that word is a very common word and it goes together with the other group of words. You can use collocations to help you to decide how to use the word correctly. A collocation is a group of two or more words that usually go together. For example, you would say heavy rain and not strong rain. Body language is very important. So when you forget the word, you can use some body language and it will help the other person to fill in that word for you. For example, I like playing tennis, but I need to buy a new tennis racket. Well done, very good. When you are searching for collocations, you can use ChatGPT, which is fantastic for looking up collocations. You can type collocations hobbies. So number one, we have pursue a hobby. Indicates actively engaging in a hobby. And we have an example. She enjoys pursuing her hobby of painting on weekends. Number two, take up a hobby. This means starting a new hobby. For example, after retiring, he decided to take up gardening as a hobby. Enjoy a hobby indicates finding pleasure in a hobby. For example, many people enjoy hobbies such as photography or hiking. So you could say, I enjoy hobbies such as photography or watching movies. Number five, share a hobby. Refers to participating in a hobby with others. For example, they bonded over their shared hobby of bird watching. 6. Hobby enthusiast. Describes someone who is passionate about their hobbies. For example, as a hobby enthusiast, he spends most of his free time building model airplanes. Number 7. Hobbyist. Similar to a hobby enthusiast, it refers to someone who has a particular interest in hobbies. For example, she's a photography hobbyist and enjoys capturing moments in her free time. Number 8, hobby collection. Refers to a group of hobbies someone enjoys. For example, his hobby collection includes stamp collecting, coin collecting, and model train building. This is so good because it adds to your general knowledge. You have some new hobbies that you may have not heard before, such as coin collecting. So you could think about, why do people enjoy collecting coins? I remember when I was younger, I loved collecting coins. I loved going to the museum, collecting really old coins, and even receiving coins from different countries. I was fascinated by this, and it made me want to learn about the other cultures more. When you have searched for the collocations on ChatGPT, write them down in your book. Have a notebook, and you can even write the categories. You can have different categories like relationships, travel, hobbies, your education or work, going to a restaurant, going on holiday. There are many different categories you can have. You can even keep notes on your phone. Don't feel pressured that you have to go to that certain section. You can just write a little note next to the word that you found. Okay, this is a budget holiday. You heard that word, and now you can just write holiday next to it. You could highlight it and make it a habit that every day you go through your personal dictionary. You browse through your dictionary, and this will help the word to stick into your memory. Another great way to practice is to speak into a mirror. You may feel a bit strange. People may think you're a bit strange if they see you doing this, but I promise it works. It's so good because you feel that sense of awkwardness, and that's something that you will feel in real life. So the more that you can practice, the more that you're preparing your brain to get ready for this. So have a conversation in the mirror. It can be anything. It can be a very basic conversation. So, hi, how are you today? I'm great, thanks. And how are you? I'm pretty good. And what do you have planned for today? Well, firstly, I'm going to go to the gym because I need to get fit. Secondly, I have a lot of things to do. I have a lot of errands to run. And thirdly, I think I will relax and watch some TV in the evening. And so you can start to have a conversation with yourself. It's a back and forth conversation, and it's so good. And even when you're talking to yourself, you will catch yourself thinking, what is this word? So you can go to Google or to ChatGPT and type in the phrase, type in a very simple word that you know, and it will show you can type the word and synonym, and it will give you a list of synonyms that you can use for future reference. And write these down in your dictionary. They will come in really handy. As you start to have more and more conversations in your head, you're talking to yourself in the mirror, you start to build up a general idea of how the conversation goes. So why don't you write down this dialogue? Imagine you're watching a movie or a TV show. They have a script that they learn from. So they have lines that they have to learn. So you can write down this script. A great game I like to play is think about a topic. Imagine that you are going to a restaurant. So write down the script. You can have different parts. So you can have yourself when you go to the restaurant, maybe a friend or a partner, and you go into the restaurant, you sit down, and then you have another part of the waiter. So the waiter comes to you, shows you the menu, and then asks you, what would you like to eat? So you browse the menu. So when you browse, you have a look through the menu to decide, what would I want to eat today? Do I want pizza? Do I want pasta? Do I want lasagna? And as you talk to yourself, you can say, I like pizza, but today I would prefer to eat pasta. Your partner could say, why do you like pasta? I'm quite fond of pasta because I love the way it tastes. And the more more emotions you can put into it, the better you will remember it. You may be feeling tired. You may not have enough energy. You may feel stressed. This will stop you from thinking naturally and thinking calmly. So calm down, relax, breathe, and remember my introduction. That's an interesting question. There are many factors. You don't have to use both together. You can use one or two or both together. This will buy you time to think about your answer. So rather than just jumping straight into the answer and feeling pressured to give a perfect answer, it buys you time. You can't really buy time. You can't go into a shop and give someone money and receive time. I wish you could, but this means to give yourself some space to think about what you are going to say next. Thank you for watching this video. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this lesson. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, please click on the subscribe button. It's free to do so. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Excuse me, waiter. There's a fly in my soup. Don't worry, sir. The spider on the bread roll will get it. Before going to the restaurant, let's learn some vocabulary and phrases. You have to eat out, which is a phrasal verb, which means to literally go outside of your house to go somewhere to eat. You could say to dine out. To dine out is a bit more formal than saying to eat out. The restaurant that you want to go to may be very busy, it may be very popular, so it's a good idea to call them up and to make a reservation. In the UK, we generally say to book. So when you call the restaurant, you could say, "Can I book a table for two?" If it's for two people. If it's more than two people, you can let them know how many people are going to the restaurant. This way, the restaurant can reserve the table for you. Sometimes when you go to a restaurant, you'll see a sign on the table that says reserved. So if you want to get the best table, it's a very good idea to call up beforehand and to make a reservation or to book a table. I'd like to book a table for two today about 6 p.m. Let me check. Yes, we have something available. Thank you very much. The restaurant may be very expensive, in which case the prices would be extortionate. Extortionate would mean something that is very high, or it may be reasonably priced. Reasonably priced means that it's not too expensive and the price is not too cheap. So it's somewhere in the middle, it's affordable, so it's something which is reasonable. If you are deciding which restaurant to go to with your partner or your friend, you could say to them, I looked at the price, I looked at the menu, and the prices are quite reasonable. So it's something which both of you can afford. At the restaurant, you will have staff. Staff means the people that are working there. You would have the waiter or the waitress who would take your order, show you the menu, and bring you the food. You'd also have the manager who would look after the restaurant, make sure everything is running smoothly. You would have the chef who cooks the food. It's nice when you have staff that care about the customers, that are very friendly, very attentive, very hospitable. So they are paying attention to their customers. It gives you a very nice feeling when you go there. Cuisine. Cuisine is a specific type of food to a place or a country. This word cuisine is pronounced as cuisine. So cu as in quick, I as in it, and zine rhymes with scene. Scene, zine. So cuisine. You could have Italian cuisine, Chinese cuisine, or Indian cuisine. And you can put this into categories. You can have continental food, which is food from Europe, places like Italy, Germany, Spain, or France. And it's very common when you go to a hotel, you will see things like a continental breakfast. You could also say Asian cuisine. Now, I prefer to use the specific name of the country because food is such a big topic and each country really takes pride in their food. So for example, I would say Thai food or Indian food or Chinese food because each country has its own unique take on the food. Which type of food do you like? I think with me it changes because you have so many different types of food. I love Indian food, I love Chinese food, I love Thai food, I love all food actually. So let me know in the comments below, what's your favorite type of food to eat today? You have vegetarian food, which does not contain any meat. You have vegan food, which does not contain any animal products. At the restaurant, the waiter or waitress will bring you the menu. A menu is a list of the foods that are available. There will be a wide selection. Sometimes it will have pictures of the food so you can have a visual representation of what to expect. Usually they will bring you the drinks menu as well and invite you to order some drinks to have while you are waiting for the food. The drinks menu, you will have some soft drinks or fizzy drinks and some alcoholic drinks and maybe a wine menu as well. I usually find that I can go through 1 or 2 drinks before waiting for my main meal. So it's a way for the restaurant also to make some money. While the chef is preparing your main meal, you could order some starters. Starters are small items of food to get you ready for the main meal. These are appetizers. They will whet your appetite, so get you ready for the main meal. Today's special is something that the chef has prepared for today. It may be a signature dish, something that the restaurant is known for and makes very well. There may be food that's on special. It may be at a discounted price. Side dishes. These are small plates of food to eat alongside your main meal. Things like salad or olives. Dessert. This comes at the end of the meal. You can eat it at the beginning if you want to. So these can be sweet things like cake or ice cream. And it's a very nice way to finish off your meal and to feel satisfied. Set menu. The restaurant may have a set menu to make it easier for you to order food. They may have the starter, main meal and dessert all together for a fixed price. So you could look at the menu and say, okay, let me go for this, rather than having to spend time going through the menu. To call the waiter or the waitress, you would simply raise your hand and say, excuse me. So this is a nice way to call the waiter or the waitress to ask for some help or to ask for more drinks. To tuck in is a phrasal verb. When the food arrives and it looks all amazing, you can say to your friends, let's tuck in. So this means to start eating the food. When you've finished eating your food and maybe you haven't finished everything, you can ask for it to be taken home. So you could ask for this as a takeaway. Can I get this to take home, or can I get this as a takeaway, please? So they will put the food in a container for you to carry home. To divvy up means to separate the costs amongst your friends. Maybe you want to pay the bill in one go, so you could work out how much each person owes, or you could pay separately. To pay up means to pay for the bill. You could call the waiter and say, we would like to pay the bill now. We would like to pay up. Or we would like to settle the bill. Or can we have... To split the bill means to pay for what you ate. So the waiter or waitress knows how much to charge you individually. This way you don't overpay for something. You will have a service charge, which will be an added cost on the bill. It may already be included in the final bill. You can pay for a tip, or sometimes this will also be included in the cost. If you've had very good service, you could give a nice tip. This is a nice way to show appreciation. So appreciation is when you are happy with the service that you have received. Maybe the waiter has been very attentive, has been very nice and friendly, and you've had a really enjoyable time at the restaurant, and so you want to say thank you. If you wanted to treat your friend, you could say, it's on me. This means that you will pay for the final bill. Maybe you're feeling very generous. Maybe it's their birthday and you want to treat them. So you could say, it's on me. When you want to pay for the bill, you could ask the waiter, I'd like to settle the bill now, please. Or I would like to pay the bill now, please. They may ask you if you would like to pay by cash or card, or you could speed up the process and let them know in advance. Please, can you bring a card machine? Or I would like to pay by card. So this is when you would like to pay by credit card or debit card. Remember to let me know what type of food you like to eat. Hello, my name is Harry and this is Learn English with British Harry. There are some words that you won't learn in a book or in the classroom. These are British slang words. Bonkers, bonkers. This means when a person or a situation is crazy. If someone is running down the street with a Superman cape and screaming, "I am Superman," you could say he was bonkers. If at work they expect you to work overtime with no pay, you could say they are bonkers to think I'm going to work without overtime pay. Tight-assed. Tight-assed, you could also say stingy. So when someone is tight-assed, they don't want to spend money. If you are going out with a friend to a restaurant, if they are being tight-assed, they don't want to contribute any money. Stingy is a little bit more formal. So again, it's someone that doesn't like to spend money. They may make their own lunch and be very cost effective. Tight-assed is a bit more informal. So it's someone that, yes, they don't like to spend money, but they're also not charitable. So if it comes to a situation when you have to donate money, they are less inclined to do so. Jammy. Jammy means to be very lucky or fortunate. There's a slight element of being envious or being jealous because that person was really lucky. They could have won the lottery and just bought one ticket. So you could say, you are so jammy. A person could be walking along the street and find some money on the ground. And you could say, you're so jammy. Because yes, you're very lucky and it was just extremely lucky. So you're mildly envious as well. Pear-shaped means when something goes very wrong. You could have had some amazing plans to go on a holiday, but then there's an unexpected storm and the plane cannot take off. You could say, my plans went pear-shaped because of the storm. You could be waiting to give a presentation at work. Maybe you have everything ready, but then your plans went pear-shaped because the projector stopped working. So pear-shaped means when your plans or when something goes wrong. Easy peasy. This is when something is extremely easy. It's often used in a light-hearted or playful manner. You can extend it, so you can say easy peasy, lemon squeezy. For example, the maths question was easy peasy. Or just follow the instructions. It's easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Fluff, fluff. This can have two meanings. The first can mean if it's something that is not serious. For example, the article was full of fluff. The content was not to be taken seriously. So you could be reading a magazine or a newspaper and it can be full of fluff. It can be an article about celebrities as opposed to world affairs or the economy. The second can mean if you've made a mistake. For example, he fluffed his lines. So if there's an actor on stage and he forgets his lines, he fluffed his lines. Lippy, lippy. This means when someone is outspoken and they can be rude. So if a student is talking back to the teacher and constantly interrupting, you could say he's being lippy. Gaff, gaff. This has a few meanings. You can refer to this as someone's home. I'm going to the gaff later. Do you want to come? It can also mean when someone's made a mistake. He made a gaffe in front of his boss by showing him the wrong project. Have a go, have a go. This means to encourage someone or to invite someone to a challenge. For example, if you haven't baked a cake before and you're not sure what to do, you could say, just have a go. So you're encouraging them to try. Keep your hair on. Keep your hair on. This means to tell someone to calm down. Maybe there's an argument and you're trying to get your friend to calm down. You could say, keep your hair on. So this is quite light-hearted, but you have to be careful because it can provoke the person even more. If you're telling them to keep their hair on, it could come across in a rude or bad way. So be careful who you say this to. Get your knickers in a twist. So knickers refers to female underwear. So if you're telling someone, don't get your knickers in a twist, this means you're telling someone to calm down. And again, you have to be careful how you use this, because if you're using it with a friend, it comes across as being quite friendly and funny and light-hearted. But if you're saying it to someone you don't know, it could make them more angry. So if there's an argument and you say to them, don't get your knickers in a twist, it will be okay, they may get more angry. Leery, leery. This means when someone is very loud, they can come across as being rude, maybe obnoxious, and generally after they've had a few drinks, some alcohol. So if someone is in the pub and they've had too many drinks and they're being very loud, you could say, he's being very leery. Whip around, whip around. This means to go around and to collect money from other people. If there's a colleague's birthday party at work, you could have a whip around. So you could ask everyone to contribute some money so you can buy a present for this person. Miffed, miffed. This is when you are annoyed. So it's not as strong as being angry, but you are annoyed. There could be a situation where you were not invited to a party. So you could say, I'm miffed that they didn't invite me to the party. So it's not as strong as angry, but you are still upset or annoyed about the situation. Dodgy, dodgy. This one is really popular. You hear this all the time. This can refer to someone that is suspicious, or if you are questioning the quality of something. You could say, I'm not walking down that road because it looks a bit dodgy. So here the situation looks slightly dangerous and you're worried about the situation. There could be a person that you think looks a bit dangerous and you're a bit worried about your safety. You think, he looks a bit dodgy, she looks a bit dodgy. There could be something that you bought, and you could have bought a laptop and the person selling it to you offers you a very low price. So here the situation can seem a bit dodgy because it seems too good to be true. Fit, fit. This refers to someone that you find attractive. You can say it to a male or a female. So he looks fit, she looks fit. So it's when you find someone attractive. Chirpsing, chirpsing. If you think about a bird that would chirp or tweet. So when you are chirpsing, you are chatting up. You are flirting with someone else. You could say he's chirpsing her because he wants to go out on a date with her. So chirpsing is when you find someone attractive and you're trying to engage in some conversation to see if you can take it to the next step. Quid, quid. This means £1. Do you have a quid? I need a quid to pay for the parking. Banter, banter. This is light-hearted conversation, and it's generally with friends and people that you know because there can be complex dynamics involved. If someone has a new haircut and they feel good about it, but you are making fun of their haircut, you're having some banter. And the other person knows that I'm not going to take it seriously. So banter is light-hearted conversation. Skint, skint. This is when you have no money. For example, I can't go to the cinema. I'm absolutely skint. I'm waiting for payday. So skint is when you have no money. Bird, bird. Yes, the animal bird. It refers to a female. So if he is talking to a bird, he is talking to a woman and he's trying to go out on a date. Oh, he's chatting to the bird. Fancy, fancy. Again, this has a few meanings. It can mean that you like someone, she fancies him, or it could mean that you want to have something or you're in the mood for something. I fancy eating a pizza tonight. Take the piss. You have to be careful how you use this one. It can come across as being rude, or it can be used as banter. So if someone is making fun of your dress sense, they could be having some banter, or they could be taking the piss. So when you take the piss, it comes across as being more rude. You can even use this with a situation. If someone is charging a really high price for something that you want to buy, you could say, they are taking the piss with the price of this. Bloody, bloody. This is used quite often, depending on the situation. It can come across as being rude in some contexts. This can be used as an exclamation. For example, that was a bloody good movie, or he's a bloody idiot. So you have to be careful how you use this, and it's used as an exclamation. You may hear people use this, for example, if they've stubbed their toe or they've hurt themselves, they may say, oh, bloody hell. So it's used as an exclamation. Muppet, muppet. This is used to refer to someone as a fool. So it can be rude, but again, with all of these words, it depends on the context, with who you are using it with. If your friend has forgotten her or his keys at home and you say to them, you're such a muppet, you forgot your keys again. So it can come across as being quite funny, light-hearted. But if you say it to someone you don't know, you're a muppet, that can come across as being quite rude. Bollocks, bollocks. This word is again used as an exclamation. If you make a mistake, if you took the wrong train and you just realized, oh bollocks, I took the wrong train. If someone is talking rubbish, maybe there's a politician and they're making a lot of promises, and you could say, that's a load of bollocks. In some cases, it can be seen to be as rude. It depends on who you're using it with, but it's a very British word. Gutted, gutted. This is when you are extremely disappointed. Your team could be winning and in the last second the opponent scores. I was extremely gutted that they scored. So gutted means to be extremely disappointed. Thank you so much for watching this lesson. Let me know in the comments what you thought of this video. If you liked the lesson, please click on the like button. If you are new here, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Try finding a picture. It can be a random photo, and it really helps if it's something that you are interested in. It could be a sport, a hobby, a location that you really like, and try to use the 5 W's to ask questions about this picture. So for example, I've chosen a picture that's related to football because I love football. I can use the 5 W's. So who, what, when, where, and why. Who can you see? I can see people, they are standing. I can see a mixture of young people and old people. What are they doing? They are holding scarves and they are supporting their team. They are cheering on their team. When are they watching the match? I assume they are watching the match on the weekend. This is when most football matches take place because people are working Monday to Friday, then they have time on the weekend, or they could be watching during the week in the evening. It could be a European game. Where are they? They are inside a football stadium. Why are they there? They are there to support their team. They've paid money to go and watch this football match. So they're there to see their team win, to cheer on, to support their football team. They're all there together. The 5 W's are very powerful because the brain loves to ask questions and find out the answers. And make sure that you are asking these questions out aloud. You're speaking them. You're asking the questions. You're not just thinking about this in your head. Why do you study English? What is your final aim? Understanding why you're studying English can help with the motivation. Are you studying for an exam? Are you studying for future career prospects? Are you studying so that you can relocate to an English-speaking country? Knowing your reason can keep you going when you think, I don't really want to study today. It really helps to immerse yourself in English. Try to interact with English in some way throughout your day. Listen to podcasts, watch English movies or TV shows. Try to read books or short stories. You can find books that are suited to your level, so you have that interest. It keeps your motivation. So if it's from A1 or to C2, you can Google for the type of books with your particular level. With podcasts, I love football and I support Arsenal. So I like to listen to podcasts like Arscast or Arsenal Vision. And I find it really interesting listening to different points of view. Follow influencers that are native speakers. A particular one that I like is Mike Thurston. I followed his journey from the beginning and he makes really interesting and fun videos about fitness and travel. So the key thing to remember is to pursue your hobbies and your interests, but pursue them in English. Try to find news articles, influencers, videos, but in English. To improve your English speaking, you have to practice, practice, and practice. Sometimes this is not as easy as it sounds. Learning to speak English is a skill. It's like swimming. You cannot just read about swimming or watch videos about swimming. You actually have to get into the water, be surrounded by the water, and feel like, okay, I don't know what to do. And each time you go into the water, you keep improving and improving. And don't worry, just give it time. Sometimes some people learn quicker than others, but don't worry about making mistakes. It's crucial to make mistakes. That's how you learn. A really good way is to record yourself giving a presentation. So think about a topic. It can be anything. It really helps that you choose something that you are interested in and imagine yourself giving a presentation to thousands of people. So stand up and you can use the 5 questions to help you to structure your answer. And when you get stuck, make note of the word that you got stuck with or the grammar that you're not sure about. Today, I'm going to talk about artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence is using machines and computers to think and behave like humans. Who would use artificial intelligence? That's an interesting question. I think it can be used in many different areas of life, from science to your everyday existence. People could use AI to help them to plan a holiday or to have some companionship, or to be used in technology to make us travel further into space. When will AI be advanced? Well, that's difficult to say. Maybe in 5 years or perhaps in 10 years. Where will AI be used? I think AI will be used in many different countries because it can help people. Why is AI developed? I think AI is developed to make our lives more convenient. That's a good answer. So here you can see how by asking and using the 5 W's, it can prompt you, it can force you to try to think rather than not knowing what to say. So you can use this as a starting point. To improve your speaking, it helps to have a speaking partner. Now make sure that you're actually speaking and not texting or writing. You can have these online via Zoom or Skype. Sometimes it's not as easy to find an English partner, and an online English teacher can be expensive depending on your budget. So if your only way to practice is by practicing at home, I suggest trying to put aside some time every day to speak out aloud. Try to record yourself. You don't necessarily have to give presentations, but you could just turn on the camera and talk about your day and then watch yourself back. Watch your mouth, watch your facial expressions, try to listen for the pronunciation. And this is a fantastic way to monitor your progress. You don't have to show this video to anyone else. It can just be for you. And it's a great way to keep track visually and by hearing your progress. When you're speaking to your English partner, sometimes you could run out of ideas of what to say after you've gone past the introduction. So there are very good websites such as ESL Discussions, and this has lots of prompts, lots of questions that you can choose. There's also a website called procon.org. This can be for advanced students, where you look at a question and you have a list of the pros, the good things, the cons, the negative things, and each person can alternate between the pro and the con. When you're by yourself, you can practice at home. Don't worry thinking that you're making a mistake or you're doing things wrong. Over time, you will start to practice and learn, and you will catch your mistakes. The best thing is just to start speaking. And to get over that initial hurdle, it helps to have categories, helps to have things that you enjoy talking about and listening to. To find out your level of English, try this English quiz. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are new here, please click on the subscribe button. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye. Today we are going to look at 10 advanced C1 level verbs. So let's get started. Circumvent. This means to find a way around an obstacle or to overcome a problem in a clever way. He managed to circumvent the security system by finding a hidden entrance. They found a way to circumvent the strict regulations by applying for a special permit. To meet the deadline, she had to circumvent the usual approval process by seeking direct authorization from the manager. So if you are circumventing something, you are going around the problem. Inundate. This means to flood or overwhelm something with an excessive amount of something, such as information, requests, or tasks. During the holiday season, stores can become inundated with shoppers searching for gifts. Maybe it's Christmas time and there's a certain product that is very popular. So all of the shops, they become inundated with lots of people coming into the shop and wanting to buy that product. A sudden influx of orders can inundate small businesses, causing delays in processing and shipping. Social media notifications can inundate users with constant updates, leading to information overload. If you're on many different types of social media and you have notifications enabled, you may receive lots of messages, even things like WhatsApp. And if you use WhatsApp for your business, or for work, you can become inundated with WhatsApp groups and WhatsApp messages. And let me know in the comments, are you a member of WhatsApp groups? Do you receive lots of messages? How do you feel about that? Do you try to limit the amount or not check WhatsApp messages on the weekend, for example? Or is it something that you have to keep checking all of the time? So let me know in the comments below. It'll be really interesting to know if you are inundated with messages. Mitigate. This means to make something bad less severe, serious, or painful. Planting trees can help mitigate the effects of climate change by absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Installing flood barriers along rivers can mitigate the risk of flooding in vulnerable areas. Educating people about proper waste disposal can help mitigate pollution in our oceans. So in the media, we receive a lot of information about recycling, especially plastic waste, and trying to use, for example, I use a water bottle that I can refill instead of constantly having to buy plastic water bottles. So I'm trying to mitigate the amount of plastic waste that I produce. To advocate. To advocate means to publicly support or recommend a particular cause, policy, or action. She advocates for animal rights, urging people to adopt pets instead of buying them. He advocates for better public transportation, highlighting its benefits for the community and the environment. The teacher advocates for more arts funding in schools, believing it enriches students' education. So if you advocate for something, you feel strongly about something, maybe you want to make a change to an idea or a policy or an action. Articulate. This means to express or communicate something clearly and effectively. She can articulate her ideas clearly, making it easy for everyone to her point of view. During the meeting, he articulated the company's goals for the upcoming year, ensuring that all team members were on the same page. The politician articulated her vision for the future, inspiring confidence and support from her audience. So when you articulate, you're able to express your ideas either through talking, verbally, or writing, and it's in a clear and understandable way. Disseminate means to spread or distribute something, such as information, knowledge, or ideas widely and to a large number of people or places. Social media platforms can quickly disseminate news to millions of users around the world. Medical professionals disseminate advice on managing long-term illnesses to help patients lead healthier lives. The marketing team disseminates valuable insights to help businesses understand customer preferences and improve their products. Elucidate. Elucidate means to explain or clarify something in a clear and easy to understand way. The textbook includes diagrams and illustrations to elucidate difficult topics and enhance learning. The professor elucidated complex scientific concepts with simple explanations, making them easier for the students to understand. The expert's presentation elucidated the key points of the research study, clarifying its significance to the audience. When you elucidate something, you explain it in a clear way. So you're giving some information, it could be in a business meeting, for example, and you get across your ideas very clearly. You elucidate the main point. Maybe there's someone that doesn't understand certain points, so you are clarifying them. When you clarify, you make something easier to understand. Exacerbate. This means to make a problem, a bad situation, or a negative feeling worse. Skipping meals can exacerbate feelings of fatigue and weakness, affecting overall health. Stressful situations can exacerbate existing health conditions such as high blood pressure or migraines. Lack of sleep can exacerbate mental health issues, including anxiety and depression. When you exacerbate something, you're making the situation even worse. Facilitate. This means to make an action or process easier. Using public transportation can facilitate sustainable travel, reducing carbon emissions and traffic congestion. Investing in renewable energy sources can facilitate the transition to a greener economy, decreasing reliance on fossil fuels. Implementing flexible work arrangements can facilitate work-life balance, improving employee satisfaction and productivity. So facilitate makes something easier. So by using your car less and using public transport when available more, you are helping to improve the environment. You're helping to facilitate reducing the carbon emissions. Perpetuate. This means to make something continue indefinitely, typically a negative situation or condition. Gossiping about others can perpetuate rumors and harm relationships. So gossiping isn't a good thing. It can perpetuate just a general feeling of mistrust, especially within a workplace, if you're trying to have a collaborative environment. The spread of fake news can perpetuate misinformation and distrust in the media. Fake news is being spread widely, and unless it's stopped, it will keep carrying on, and it will get to a situation where you don't know what information to trust. So it's perpetuating misinformation. Persistent poverty can perpetuate cycles of disadvantage and limit opportunities for growth. So perpetuate means to make something carry on. And when I say indefinitely, you don't know when it's going to end. It could continue forever. So that means that that cycle of negativity will keep carrying on. I hope you found this lesson interesting and useful. Let me know what you thought of the lesson in the comments below.
Hello friend, how are you today? I hope you're well. Thank you for joining me today. So today I want to talk about AI. Now during the lesson I'm going to ask you some questions. So I want you to pause and try to answer yourself. If you can't, then you can listen to my answer. So AI, what is AI? So AI stands for Artificial Intelligence. So we're going to look at some of the pros and some of the cons of AI. Now pros means the advantages, or why is it good? So if we think about artificial intelligence, why is it a good thing for society? We have many reasons. So here, when I ask a why question, I want you to think about your introduction. So firstly, we have, that's an interesting question. Secondly, there are many factors. So this introduction, just a brief recap, is very powerful because when you say to someone, that's an interesting question, you are building empathy. So the other person thinks, this is an interesting question, so I must be an interesting person. So when you build empathy, you're building a connection with the other person and they start to like you. When you say there are many factors, you are also considering your response, you're considering your answer. So you're not just saying there are many reasons, you're saying there are many factors, which is another word for reasons, but it shows that you have thought through your answer. So let's jump into it. Let's have a think about some of the pros of AI. Well, AI is a good thing because it can speed up processes. So if you want to find an answer to something, AI can find the answer faster for you. So we have search engines, the most popular being Google. Then you have things like ChatGPT, which I have used and I think is amazing. It can give you responses so quickly and accurately, and it's tailored to your specific question. So when I say tailored, think about when you go to a tailor. If you have a shirt or a jacket, they can fit it exactly to your measurements, not to someone else. So AI can be more accurate, it can be more personal to you. Some of the industries AI could be used is in science, even in teaching, in research. So AI can be a good thing for society. It can maybe lead to more advancements in technology. Maybe we have reached the limit of what humans can do. So AI can gather all of the information and collect it all together and then generate a faster response. You have let's look at some of the cons. So the cons of AI could be that it could wipe out society. So a lot of people are worried about this, that this could happen, because if AI becomes self-aware, then it could see humans as a threat. Now, this has been portrayed in science fiction a lot. So you see when AI becomes self-aware, it tries to protect the humans by getting rid of them because it sees that humanity does some horrible acts, and it tries to protect them. Also, if AI, I think the way to counteract that is for humans to have control of the AI rather than the AI taking control. However, if artificial intelligence becomes very powerful and self-aware, it could overwrite any programming that's been written into it. So there are a lot of pros, a lot of cons to AI. Personally, I think it's amazing. I think it's the next development in technology, in society. A lot of people can be worried that it could take their jobs, for example. So I mentioned ChatGPT. It can write whole essays for you. There have been some people that have written programs to specifically see if their work has been plagiarized. So when you plagiarize is when you copy from someone else. So people have created programs to spot or to notice if this is the case. Also have image programs that you can write a response and it can generate this amazing picture for you. So I would assume that artists would be worried about this if it can just create this amazing picture without them actually creating it themselves. However, we have to question whether the AI has some soul or some true creativity. So that goes into a whole other topic about creativity. Do you think AI can really be creative? Can it be more creative than a human? Sometimes I think it's the imperfections or the mistakes that make us human. So when you're creating a piece of art and it's not perfect, I think it shows some individuality. So that artist put their own viewpoint, and it can come from many different factors. It can come from when they grew up or how they see the world. So they can create something new rather than AI creating something which is absolutely perfect. So I think these people will always have jobs, even writers, for example, because you can add your own flavor. I think it's like learning English. You can learn all of the grammatical rules, all of the idioms, all of the phrases. However, once you truly understand these phrases is when you can break the rules and you understand that you are breaking the rules. So you can be sarcastic, you can be ironic, you can play with the words, and you can use some humor. So it's quite interesting. I think we will start to see AI in a lot more of our daily lives, maybe automating things. I can see AI being our personal assistant. So rather than going to Google to search for something, you could have your own personal AI and it can search for things based on your interests. So it's very exciting times. Now I know Google is also working on their own AI. I believe it's called Bard. So it's interesting to see how they've collected all of this information and it can be used to help us to find what we want faster. So let me know in the comments below. Think about some pros, some good things, some cons, some bad things about AI, and write them in the comments below. I think it's really good practice to think about different topics, and it's a very good idea to think about the good and the bad. Now, a nice keyword you can use is conversely. So you don't have to necessarily do it separately. You can do one. So you could say AI is a good thing because it can not make mistakes. You can automate tasks. Conversely, it may not be flexible because you want to input your own ideas, your own data. So there's two different methods for comparing and contrasting. Perfect. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Please click on the like, subscribe and share button. It's free to do so and I really appreciate it. So have a wonderful day and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Hi, my name is Harry and this is Learn English with British Harry. I was born in London and I've lived here all of my life. Being a native speaker means that I understand the differences in the different types of accents and how to sound more British. Today we're going to focus on the RP accent, also known as received pronunciation. It is also known as Southern Standard British English or SSBE. Now, why would you want to sound more British? Maybe it's for fun, maybe you're just interested, maybe you're watching TV shows or movies and think it's something nice to learn. Maybe you're an actor. Whatever your reason, I can help you to achieve the British accent in 5 simple steps. The first thing to consider when wanting to sound British is to think about the T sound. It's a t, as in the words water, better, that. If we look at the word test, it's pronounced as a t, test, rather than dest. So it's a very audible t, t sound. There is something called the glottal stop, which happens when you are connecting words in a sentence. So when you're speaking naturally, it sounds a bit unnatural to keep pronouncing every t sound. I could say, what are you doing? If I was saying that within a sentence, if I was speaking very fast, I could say, what are you doing? So that sound, that what sound happens when you stop making the t sound. Let's try some sentences. The Tower of London is tremendous. The Tower of London is tremendous. Enjoy some afternoon tea when you reach Covent Garden. Enjoy some afternoon tea when you reach Covent Garden. Hampton Court is a fascinating place. Hampton Court is a fascinating place. The second sound to consider to sound more British is the R sound, which is very important. If a vowel follows an R, it is silent, as in care, earth, 40. If the R is at the end of a word, it is silent, as in car, far, door. If there is a consonant sound after the R, it is silent, as in first, park, cared. In this word cared, the consonant sound is the D sound. Let's try some sentences. Winter wonderland at Hyde Park is spectacular. Winter wonderland at Hyde Park is spectacular. Be careful before you step on the train. Be careful before you step on the train. The London Eye is a bit far, but it's worth visiting. The London Eye is a bit far, but it is worth visiting. If a vowel sound is after the R, then you can pronounce the R. Kew Gardens is beautiful. Kew Gardens is beautiful. Buy some bread and green vegetables from Sainsbury's. Buy some bread and green vegetables from Sainsbury's. Try not to take the wrong tube to Heathrow. Try not to take the wrong tube to Heathrow. You also pronounce the R with the linking R when the next word begins with a vowel. There are many things to buy at Camden Market. There are many things to buy at Camden Market. Trafalgar Square is not that far away from Piccadilly Circus. Trafalgar Square is not that far away from Piccadilly Circus. Step number 3 is the schwa sound. This is a fancy word to describe the sound. For example, in the words her, shorter, faster. Here you keep your mouth quite relaxed and your tongue flat to make the sound. Step number 4 is the TH sound. Now you have two different types. You have voiced and unvoiced. There are no definitive rules, but there are some guidelines that can help you as to when to make the particular sound. The unvoiced TH is made with air, and generally it's at the beginning of words such as 30, Thursday. The main thing to notice is that the position of the tongue is the same for both sounds. With the unvoiced TH, you pronounce this at the beginning of content words. These are words that add meaning to a sentence. These could be nouns, adjectives, verbs, or adverbs. The TH at the end of a word is usually unvoiced, such as worth or teeth. Function words usually have a voiced TH. These are grammatical words that don't add much meaning, but are important for the structure of the sentence. For example, this, that, these, those. Lastly, we have the V and the W sound. The V sound is made as a V, so your top teeth touch the bottom lip very slightly, as in the words very,
violin. With the W sound, it's nice to think of the starting position as a small O. For example, wait, water, waffle. These are just some of the tips to help you to sound more British. The best way to learn to sound more British is through lots of practice. Watch lots of British TV shows, lots of British movies. Try to read out aloud, maybe in front of a mirror, or record yourself reading from a book or a newspaper article. And then when you listen back, try to implement some of these tips, even if it's one or two. There are many other facets to sound more British. These can be your word choice, using idioms, or different British phrases that are quite unique to Britain or London to help you to sound more British. And I will cover these in future lessons. Thank you so much for watching. I'd appreciate it if you'd click that like and subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Today you're going to learn 25 words to describe food. I love food, and learning these words can expand your vocabulary, make you feel more confident, and also if you're listening to a native English speaker, you can understand what they are talking about. At the gourmet buffet, I tried a variety of delicacies, each portion carefully garnished with fresh organic herbs. The cuisine included everything from delectable pastries to savory dishes that made every nibble enjoyable. However, some dishes were surprisingly bland, showing how important good seasoning is. Overall, the experience highlighted the range of flavors and the importance of quality ingredients in gourmet cuisine. Now, let's have a look at the meaning of some of the words. Gourmet. Gourmet means high quality food. It can be seen as being quite refined, and it can be quite expensive because they use the best ingredients, but some people would pay that money to receive the high quality food. So if you're having gourmet food, it's something which is a bit more special than just having normal food or takeaway food. She enjoys exploring gourmet restaurants that offer innovative dishes. So sometimes the gourmet food, they go above and beyond in creating food that is quite special. Buffet. This is where you can help yourself to a variety of dishes. So you'll have the food laid out and you can help yourself. You can take what you want from the available food. And it's quite nice because in a lot of the places you can eat as much as you want. I think there will be a limit though as to how much you could eat, and it's probably self-imposed. I have a strategy when I go to a buffet. I like to eat a lot of the protein first and then eat the carbohydrate, because I find if I eat the carbohydrates first, I feel full quicker, and then I'm unable to eat a lot of food. So there's quite a lot of strategy going on when you go to a buffet. The hotel's breakfast buffet included a selection of pastries, fruits, and made-to-order omelets. So in a lot of hotels, you have the buffet and you can help yourself to the cereals, the toast. Sometimes they could make an omelette, or they can fry the eggs or make scrambled eggs. You can make the eggs how you want it. Delicacy. Delicacy is an expensive food item that is considered rare, luxurious, or exquisite. For example, truffles or caviar are a delicacy because they are very expensive. Some people think they're very delicious. Same thing with oysters. So a delicacy can be seen as something very special because you don't find it
everywhere, and not everyone can afford to have it every day. Unless you are incredibly wealthy. Garnish. To garnish something means to add something to the food. This can improve its flavor or the appearance, how the food looks. The chef garnished the steak with some fresh parsley and a drizzle of balsamic vinegar. So when you garnish something, you add something extra. It could be some kind of herb like parsley or coriander or some olive oil or some kind of sauce. So when you garnish something, it can make it look better, it can make it look more beautiful in appearance, or it could add to the taste. For example, when I make a salad, I like to garnish the salad with some nuts or some lemon juice, freshly squeezed lemon juice, and I'll add this to the top of the salad and then give it a good mix, and this enhances the flavor. Cuisine. This is a style or method of cooking, especially characteristic of a particular country or region. So different countries have their own type of cuisine. They may add more spices than another country, and so this is cuisine. And it's quite nice to try different cuisines. I love trying different types of food because you get to experience a unique type of flavors and you learn more about the culture of the country. Thai cuisine is known for its bold flavors and use of fresh herbs and spices. Portion. This is a serving or quantity of food given to one person. So if you ask for a portion of vegetables, that would be enough for one person. If you're feeling quite hungry and you love your vegetables, you could ask for 2 portions. The restaurant served generous portions of pasta. It's quite nice when you have a large portion of food. Sometimes if you go to a gourmet restaurant, the portions may be quite small, but the flavors are very interesting, very delicious, and there may be more meals that you can have. I remember when I went to a very nice restaurant for the first time, and when they brought the food out, it was absolutely tiny, and I was thinking, this is not going to fill me up. But after many plates of food, I actually felt full by the end, as opposed to having one plate with a large portion of food. Delectable. This means extremely pleasing to the sense of taste. It's delicious. Delectable. This isn't a word that I would use as it's very formal, but I like to use it in the sense of being aware of what I am saying. So if rather than saying this food is delicious, I would say it is delectable. So the other person knows that I'm using some humor, but the food still tastes amazing. I could say it's absolutely delectable. The chocolate cake was absolutely delectable with layers of rich chocolate and moist sponge. When I have a chocolate cake, it has to be moist and not dry, otherwise it doesn't taste nice. Nibble. I use this word quite often. So a nibble is a small bite or a snack usually eaten between meals. I would use it in the sense of eating a small bit of food. So if someone is eating some food and it looks quite delicious and I want to try some, I could say, can I have a small nibble of that pizza? So I'm only taking a small bite. Don't worry, I'm not going to eat the whole pizza. We enjoyed a few nibbles of cheese and crackers before dinner. Sometimes it's nice to have a quick snack, which is something small and not as filling as a main meal. So this can be referred to as a nibble. Organic. Organic is produced or grown without the use of artificial chemicals, pesticides, or hormones. Organic food can be seen to be more healthy, better for your body because you're not putting other chemicals inside your body. She prefers to buy organic vegetables from the local farmers market. I love buying fresh vegetables. A thing that many people may find a bit strange is that the vegetables do not look the same when you go to the supermarket. There may be organic vegetables, may be a different shape, slightly different color, but they taste absolutely amazing, and it gives you peace of mind knowing that chemicals have not been added to it. Bland. This means lacking a strong flavor. It can be quite mild or even tasteless. So I personally don't like bland food. I like to add some kind of spice to it, even if it's salt and pepper. But sometimes, for example, when you're feeling ill or sick, having bland food could help. The soup was too bland, so I added some salt and pepper to enhance the taste. Well done. Let's have a look at the next paragraph. For a starter, I had a refreshing salad infused with aromatic herbs, which was a nice change from fast food. The main course was a hearty, mouth-watering vegan dish that felt both heavenly and comforting. Infused. This means giving the food or drink extra flavor. So you're adding something to it. For example, the cocktail was infused with fresh herbs and citrus flavors. So with the cocktail, extra flavor was added to it. Maybe some mint, maybe some lemon juice. It was mixed into the drink and it became infused. So it changed the original flavor of the drink. Starter. This is a small dish served at the beginning of a meal. In America, you may call it an appetizer. So this whets your appetite. It builds up your hunger. It gets your taste buds going, and you can enjoy a small piece of food before the main course. So if you're going with friends or loved ones, you want to enjoy that whole atmosphere and experience of going to the restaurant. So when you're having the small starter, you can still eat some food and enjoy the conversation while you're waiting for the main food. Fast food. This is food that is prepared very quickly, and speed is emphasized more than the actual quality of the food. But this can vary from place to place. Generally, it's seen as being unhealthy food because it's prepared very quickly. Many people enjoy fast food for its convenience, although it may not always be the healthiest option. I'm guilty of having fast food, and it's because of the convenience. Because when I'm feeling hungry and I'm too tired to cook, I could just order some fast food or pick up some fast food, and it's made very quickly and it satisfies you. So generally it's better not to eat too much fast food because there's added oil and salt and added fat. So it's not always the healthiest, but it does taste delicious sometimes. Aromatic. This means having a pleasant or distinctive smell. If you have the food and you're smelling it, the aroma is amazing. It smells delicious. One of the important aspects of food is not just the taste or how it looks, it's the smell. And it's one of the reasons why I love cooking. When you're cooking and you're adding the spices, you have that amazing aroma, that amazing smell. The kitchen was filled with the aromatic scent of freshly baked bread. It's quite interesting how the sense of smell is linked to memory. So if you smell something, it may remind you of the past, of a happy moment. So it's quite interesting. Comforting. This means providing a feeling of warmth, of relaxation. So when you're eating comforting food. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel nice and relaxed. Hearty. This is satisfying and substantial. So it's similar to comforting, but here it's something which is very substantial. For example, the stew was hearty and filled with chunks of tender meat and vegetables. So it's not just a normal soup, but you have lots of vegetables, you have lots of meat. So when you eat this stew, you feel, this is a lot of food. It feels very substantial. You feel satisfied when eating it. Mouth watering. This is something that is very appealing to your senses, especially to your taste or smell. If you think about the word mouth watering, it's like when you can smell the food and your saliva starts to work in your mouth and you start to get very, very hungry just by the smell or how it looks. Heavenly. This means something pleasurable or exceptionally delightful. If you're eating some chocolate cake, this tastes heavenly. So it's absolutely amazing. The chocolate fondue was heavenly with its smooth, rich taste. So you're not just saying, this food tastes good or it tastes wonderful. It tastes heavenly. So it's like the best of the best. Refreshing. This is when you feel good when you have the food or the drink because it's very fresh, it's very cooling. A glass of freshly squeezed lemonade is so refreshing on a hot summer's day. Vegan food. This is food that is prepared without any animal products or byproducts. So with vegan food, there are no animal products like meat or eggs or honey. Well done. Let's have a look at the last section. I prepared a selection of snacks featuring succulent grilled skewers and savory pastries. The highlight was an indulgent cheese platter with a fusion of international flavors. Snacks. These are small portions of food eaten between regular meals. And with the snacks, you can have a nibble of the snack. So you can have a small bite of the small food. Indulgent. This means allowing yourself to enjoy pleasure or luxury. The triple layer chocolate cake was an indulgent treat after a long week. So it's not just a normal cake, it's a triple layer chocolate cake. So here you're feeling quite indulgent. You are allowing yourself to enjoy this pleasure. Succulent. This means juicy and tender. It's often used to describe meat or ripe fruit. The grilled steak was incredibly succulent, perfectly cooked to medium rare. So here the meat is juicy and tender. So if someone asks you, how is your meat? How is the steak? Rather than saying it's good, you could say it's succulent. So it's very delicious because it's juicy. Savory. This means salty or spicy. This is the opposite of sweet. The savory aroma of roasted garlic filled the kitchen. I quite like savory food and especially garlic. So it's just another way to describe food. And as humans, we like variety. So it's nice to try different flavors of food. Fusion. This means combining elements or styles from different cuisines or culinary traditions. They can take elements or styles from one cuisine and add it to another cuisine, so it becomes a fusion. Well done, you did a great job. Now I want you to watch the video again and listen to the descriptions and try to read them out aloud yourself. Have a look at the vocabulary and think about how you can use some of these words during your day. So if you're eating some cereal, you could say, this cereal is delectable. People may look at you in a strange way, but you're getting used to using these words. Over time, you will start to develop a deeper understanding of these words. These are fantastic words to add to your vocabulary. Do you like my hat? To be honest, remember, I'm letting you drive my Ferrari. I think it looks fantastic. Hello, how are you today? I hope you're well. And today we're going to look at other ways to say I think. Is there anything wrong with saying I think? Definitely not. It's perfectly acceptable. I say I think a lot, but there are other ways to say I think which adds extra flavor, and other expressions may be more suited than saying I think. In my opinion is a personal belief rather than an objective fact. In my opinion, summer is the best season. Someone else may think that winter is the best season. So this is a personal belief, but you don't have any facts. It's not based on any facts. It's what you believe. In my opinion, the book was better than the movie. You can also say, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned. This is a bit more formal than saying I think. When you say this, you're showing your own personal opinion and you're not really considering the other person's point of view. For example, as far as I'm concerned, cats make the best pets. I'm not really an animal person, but I'm just using this as an example. So as far as I'm concerned, I know that you may have a different opinion, but I'm just stating my opinion as far as I'm concerned, and you're not really going to change my opinion. You could tell me that dogs are more loyal, but I'm still going to stick to my opinion that as far as I'm concerned, cats make the better pets. As far as I'm concerned, learning new skills is essential for personal growth. Maybe I've had personal experience of that learning a new skill made me feel more confident. It opened up more career opportunities. So by not learning a new skill, I believe that you won't really develop and grow. So as far as I'm concerned, learning a new skill is very important. I believe that. I believe that. This is a strong statement. When you believe in something, you feel very strongly, you think very strongly about something. If you think about politicians, they would say this word, for example, I believe that I can make this country great again, or I believe I can improve things. And when you're listening to this, you think, okay, this person believes something, so I'm more inclined to support him because he has a strong belief. It's stronger than saying, I think something. So when I say I believe, it's stronger than I think. I believe that regular exercise improves your mental and your physical health. This is something that I believe because I've had a personal experience with it. I've experienced this firsthand. I believe that setting clear goals helps with focus and motivation. By having clear goals, you know what you need to achieve. It's not something random, but by having clear goals, you know what you're aiming towards and you can take the appropriate steps. I assume that. When I say I assume that, I believe something to be true based on the information that I have. I may not have all of the information, but I'm making an assumption on the information that I have. I assume that the meeting will still go ahead tomorrow because everyone has confirmed their attendance. So as far as I know, the meeting will still happen. I assume that the meeting will still happen because no one has actually said that they cannot make the meeting. I assume that climate change is a concern for many people around the world. Climate change is a huge problem. It's affecting many people. However, I have not spoken to all of the 8 million people in the world to ask them if climate change is an issue for you. But I can make that assumption because I can see how it's affecting the world, how the sea levels are increasing, how the temperature is increasing around the world. So this is an assumption I've made based on the information that I personally have. I reckon. This is an informal phrase that's used very commonly in the UK. You say I reckon when you think something is probably true, so you're making a prediction. I reckon we should take the train instead of driving because there will be traffic. So maybe it's rush hour, and I know I've had experience of this in the past where there will be traffic. So there's no point in driving. You're much better off taking the train. So I reckon we should just take the train. So I'm making that prediction. Now, there could be no traffic. By some chance, maybe a lot of people have not gone to work, or maybe it's a public holiday that I didn't know about. But I'm saying I reckon based on the prediction, using some information that I've had from the past. If I look out the window and I see the grey skies, I could say, I reckon it's going to rain today. So I'm making this prediction based on what I can see. You may also hear this in a question. What do you reckon? What do you reckon? Here, do you is combined together to make the sound ju or ja. What do you reckon? Or what do you reckon? Do you reckon he wants to eat sushi or pizza? I reckon he wants to eat pizza. This may be because I know the certain person likes to eat pizza, or maybe he had sushi yesterday and so he would prefer pizza today. Using these words, it's more interesting than saying I think. So you can say I reckon. I feel that. This is used to express your emotion. So it can be a lot more powerful, a lot more personal. I feel that this decision is the right one for me. I feel that spending time in nature is essential for my happiness. So rather than saying, I think spending time in nature, I feel spending time in nature, it's more powerful, because as human beings, we connect with emotions. We are driven by emotions. There's a saying, trust your gut. So when you trust your gut, you're trusting your instinct, your emotions. I feel that. To be honest. To be honest. This is a very polite phrase. In the UK, people can be very polite, but there's a slight undercurrent because you still want to express your feelings. So when you say to be honest, you're almost setting up the person to hear some bad news, some controversial news, but still maintaining some truthfulness and not being fake. To be honest, I didn't enjoy the movie. The Euros are coming up, there's a final coming up. So maybe there's a final between England and France. And I'm speaking to my French friend. I could say, to be honest, I think England will win. Or from his perspective, to be honest, I think France will win. And then from there, you can give your personal perspective to back this up. To be honest, I think England will win because they have a better squad. Or, to be honest, I think France will win because they have Mbappe and they have more of a history of winning trophies. Your partner could say to you, does this dress suit me? And you could say, to be honest, I think you look better in a different color. Or to be honest, I think you look better in red. So you have to be very careful with this one. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this video in the comments below, and try to make some sentences with the phrases that you have learnt today. I can't believe he missed. He put it on a plate. Plate? What plate? The defender has him in his pocket. What? They are under the cosh. I give up. Hello, my name is Harry and this is Learn English with British Harry. I love football, or as in America, people would call it soccer. And today we're going to learn some essential football vocabulary. In his pocket. This is when a player can control the other player, so he neutralizes his attack. And it generally relates to a defender. So a defender can stop the attacker from scoring goals or creating opportunities. So the defender had him in his pocket. A fox in the box. What? A fox in the box? It's really strange. A fox in the box refers to a player who is really good at finding space and scoring goals near the opposition's goal. A dead ball specialist. A dead ball? No, the ball isn't dead, but it means that the player is really good or excellent when striking the ball when the ball is stationary, when it's still. So he may be really good at free kicks and corners. Heavy metal football. This is really strange. Heavy metal football? This style of play was implemented by a coach called Jurgen Klopp, and it involves really fast and attacking and counter-attacking play. Hair dryer treatment. This is when a manager gets really angry and shouts at the players. It is a euphemism. A euphemism is a polite way to say something without being rude or too direct. For example, someone may say that person passed away instead of saying he died, or they may say he was let go instead of he was fired. So a euphemism is a polite way to explain something. Park the bus. This is when a team plays really defensively. So the team parked the bus. They weren't coming out to attack. They were just defending all the time. A foot like a traction engine. This is another strange one. This means that a player has a really powerful shot. A brace. A brace means when you score 2 goals. A hat-trick is when you score 3 goals. A perfect hat-trick is when you score with your left foot, your right foot, and your head. It's seen as an achievement because it's something very difficult to do in a game. A Hollywood pass is a pass that looks really impressive, but it doesn't always achieve much. It is more risky than just playing a simple pass. So it looks spectacular. The player may kick the ball across the field and it looks spectacular, but it may not even reach the player, or the player cannot do much from it. And it involves a lot of risk because the other team can win the ball back and go on a counter attack. The 12th man is a term of affection. It's used when the other team is being really loud and encouraging the team. So the 12th man refers to the supporters because they're almost like another player. They can give the players on the pitch more motivation and energy to play really well. Against the run of play is when a team hasn't been dominating the match or even playing really well, but they score against the more dominating team. So they scored against the run of play. Bottled it. This is a phrase that you will hear in the UK a lot. So when the team has bottled it, they were leading or in a really good position, but they just threw it away. And you can apply this to life. Maybe you have an opportunity for a promotion, you're doing really well, but at the last minute you bottle it and you make a lot of mistakes, so you miss the chance. Caught sleeping is when a player hasn't been concentrating. You could also say caught napping or switched off. So the defender was caught sleeping because he wasn't concentrating, and the defender got in and took the chance and scored the goal. Clean sheet. This is when a team does not concede a goal. Magic sponge. This is when a player receives treatment and magically gets up very quickly. So it's a term that is quite ironic and funny, because how can a sponge just automatically make the player feel better? But he may be trying to buy time, or maybe they're winning the match and they're trying to kill time so he can fake an injury, and so the referee has to call the physio on, and the physio uses a sponge, and automatically the player gets up. Man of the match. This is an award given to the player that's judged to be the best player, and this can be relative. So you may think, this player scored a goal, but then the man of the match may be awarded to another player who had more influence on the game. Nutmeg. Very, very strange. A nutmeg is when a player kicks the ball through the opponent's legs, and it can be quite skillful to do because it can be hard when people are running very fast. Put it on a plate. This is when a player creates an easy opportunity for his teammate to score. Screamer. This is a spectacular long-range goal where the ball flies in the air and it looks amazing. Sitter. A sitter is an easy opportunity that seems impossible to miss. You may hear the commentator say, he missed a sitter. So he missed such an easy chance and he can't believe it. Under the cosh. This is when a team is under immense pressure. So they have to defend and the other team is constantly, continuously attacking them, and they feel like there's no way out, there's no escape. Dive. This is when a player deliberately tries to deceive the referee and falls to the ground. Off the woodwork. This is when the ball hits the goalpost, and it refers to a time when goalposts used to be made of wood.
Hello friend, how are you today? I hope you're well, and today we're going to talk about travel and holidays. So why do people go on holiday? Well, that's an interesting question. There are many factors. So there could be a lot of reasons as to why people go on holiday. It could be that they want to escape their everyday life. They want to go and have some sunshine. Conversely, they could want to have some cold weather, see some snow, see some nature. So in today's lesson, we're going to go into each individual topic in a bit more detail. Another reason could be for work. So sometimes people have to travel for their job. Maybe they work for an international company and the company has a branch overseas in another country, so they have to travel to that country. I mentioned earlier that people may want to escape their everyday lives. Maybe their lives are mundane, so it may be a bit boring. It may be a bit monotonous. Maybe people are bored of doing the same thing and having the same routine.
So going on holiday can be a nice break, it can be nice to get away. So there are different types of holidays. You may want to go to the beach and have some nice sunshine and just flop on the beach and just relax, get a nice suntan, read a book. That may be enough for you. And in fact, there are a lot of package holidays. Companies would have these things combined together. So they would include your flight, your transfers from the airport to the hotel, and maybe the hotel is all inclusive, or it could be bed and breakfast. If it's all inclusive, that's one less thing to worry about. That is, of course, if the food is good. So you can have your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, any snacks or any drinks. So you don't really have to worry about anything, and you're taken care of. You can just go out and enjoy the nice scenery. Talking about scenery, you may want to have some breathtaking views. So you may want to go on a nature holiday, maybe to see wildlife or to see some landscapes, maybe some mountains, or maybe you'd want to go hiking. So it's a really personal decision. I think it's nice to have a variety of the type of holidays that you can have. So back to the question, why do people go on holiday? Well, there are so many reasons. Another reason could be to see friends or family. Maybe they have moved abroad and you want to go and visit them. So you have modern technology today. You have things like WhatsApp video calls or Zoom. However, it's nice to go in person to see them. When you visit another country, I personally find it beneficial to immerse myself in the culture. So yes, I like to visit the tourist attractions. However, it's nice to go off the beaten track and explore the local culture and have a feel for what the country is really like. And part of this is food. A lot of places have street food, and the food is really authentic because they use the spices, they know how much to use, and it just tastes better being in the particular country. A key word is enrichment. So when you immerse yourself in another culture, you broaden your mindset. You broaden your mind, you get to understand and experience how other people live, how they view the world, how it's different from yours. So this helps to enrich your mind, and I think it's very helpful because just like reading books or watching movies, you broaden your horizons. So when you have to talk about a topic, you can pick from your experiences, and because they're an experience, it comes across as being more authentic. What are some of the best holidays that you've been on? Please comment below and let me know where you went and why you liked it so much. Now we have the aspect of travel. So how do you like to travel? Do you like to travel via plane, car, or boat? So a lot of these have their pros and their cons. Traveling by plane is much faster. When you're traveling by plane, you have your different sections, there are different price tickets. So you have your economy, you have your premium economy, business, and first class. So the price differences are quite huge when you go between the different categories. So does it matter to you how long the flight is? Does that determine what ticket you would choose? I think traveling on a plane is quite a nice experience. It's nice to have the food brought to you. A lot of airlines have very good food, I think. I like how they give you the little packets of food, and you can just sit there and you're watching your movie and the time just flies by. Have you heard of this cruise ship called the World? It's very, very interesting. So a lot of billionaires, they don't like the hassle of owning their own boat and all the logistics that come with it. So they would rent an apartment on this cruise ship, which travels all around the world. And it's very interesting because it's gigantic. And the residents on board, they get to choose their itinerary of where they want to travel. So I think it's a very interesting idea. Now, you can also travel by car depending on the distance. Sometimes it's nice to take the scenic route when you're driving, so you get to experience nature as you're driving, as opposed to just being stuck on the motorway. So this was a brief video just about the topic of travel and holidays. I find it's very interesting to think about this topic and try to ask yourself questions about, why did I enjoy my holiday? What aspects of the holiday did I enjoy? And you can try to extend your answer using because as much as possible. So for example, I liked going to France because I loved the food, because the food was incredibly healthy and it made me feel fantastic. And I liked sightseeing and seeing all of the museums and immersing myself in the culture. So it's quite nice to ask yourself these questions. So I hope you found this video helpful. Please like, share and subscribe. It's free to do so. And again, please comment below. Let me know what was your favorite holiday, and also in the future, where would you like to visit? Are you working 100 hours a week, going to the gym 5 days a week, meditating and having the perfect diet? If not, why not? So we have the idea of working hard in life to get ahead. You see many successful people, they're very wealthy, they have lots of flashy cars or going on lots of holidays, and they tell you that they achieve these things by working very hard. So we have the idea that to get ahead, you have to work extremely hard. But sometimes this is not possible because you end up burning out, you have health problems, other areas of your life suffer. So you have this idea of hustle culture. Now, if we look at this title here, hustle culture, is this the end of rise and grind? So before we look at the article, try to make an assumption, try to make an intelligent guess as to what the article is about, even if you haven't heard of this phrase hustle culture before. Is this the end of rise and grind? So to rise, to wake up, to get up, and grind. What is grind? So when you think about having a pestle and mortar, if you're grinding pepper, so you have peppercorn, you grind it to make the fine pepper. Waking at 4 o'clock, necking a bulletproof coffee and a green juice. Waking at 4 o'clock in the morning. Anytime you see a number, a date, I want you to think about deduction and the phrase, this implies that. So by waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, is it early? Is it late? Well, it could depend. It depends on the person's sleeping schedule. But in general, you could make the assumption that 4 o'clock is early. It's incredibly early to wake up. Necking. Necking here means to drink very quickly, usually alcohol, a bulletproof coffee. Bulletproof coffee is a brand of coffee that has extra fat, and it's popular with people that are on a low carbohydrate diet, or a keto diet, which is very low in carbohydrates. And a green juice. So a green juice is something very healthy. It has lots of vegetables. I actually love making smoothies. My version of a smoothie is to put some bok choy, some dates, some bananas, blueberries, almond milk, and blend that up, and it's amazing. But this term green juice is synonymous, is connected to the idea of being healthy. Hooking into a multi-screen desk setup for back-to-back calls and strategy sessions. So here, there's not just one desk, there's it's a multi-desk, a multi-screen desk rather. So you have many screens around, so it looks like you're being very productive, you're getting lots of work done. You're hustling to build a mission-driven empire. When you're on a mission, it's stronger than having motivation. You're driven. So driven again here is stronger than motivation. It's something that you have to do. And an empire. You're not just building a business, you're building an empire. And harness the hashtag grindset. I like how they've used the hashtag here, because on social media you have lots of things like hashtag and then the keyword, and this is something which has become quite popular if you want to highlight a specific topic or area. A grind set. So it's no longer your mindset, it's your grind set. So your mind has become brainwashed into thinking you have to keep grinding, you have to keep working incredibly hard all of the time. Who needs sleep when you're going to make trillions of dollars? So no longer is it just making millions or billions, now it's trillions. So you have this enormous pressure to be making trillions of dollars in order to be perceived as being successful. The hustle culture narrative promotes the idea that there's always more to strive for, more money to make, a bigger title or promotion to secure, and a higher ceiling to smash. A higher ceiling to smash. If you think about a career, you have the career ladder. So you have steps that you have to achieve. So when you're starting a career, you start at the bottom, you have to learn the ropes, you have to learn what to do. As you progress, your salary increases and you get to the top, and then that's the ceiling. But the hustle culture narrative promotes smashing through that barrier because there's so much more that you can achieve. Although not all entrepreneurs embrace these tropes. Tropes here means a recurring theme. So some people don't embrace. They don't think, okay, this is what I need to be doing. Some experts say some people have felt the pressure from decades-long trickle-down effect of total immersion in work. Trickle down, this means to fall down slowly. So if you have water, maybe it's been raining and there's water on the window, so you have drops of rain that would trickle down eventually to the bottom of the window. So this feeling that you have to be working very hard, it may have been successful in the past. So that feeling has trickled down through decades. So decades here refers to 10 years. So this, to me, this implies that this feeling that you have to work hard has been around for a long time, often to the detriment of other facets of their lives. Facets here means other areas. So their work life, their family life, their health, their hobbies. These are all the other facets. So the detriment, all the other areas have suffered because of just focusing on hustling. They point out this mindset stems largely from tech startups in Silicon Valley and is perpetuated on social media. So Silicon Valley in America, where a lot of the startups originated from, people had to work incredibly hard to create something, is perpetuated. Perpetuated means when something is continuous and you don't know when it's going to stop. It's perpetuated on social media. So here they're saying that on social media, it can continue forever. If you're watching the news, you can turn off the news or it finishes at some point. But with social media, it's continuous. It's 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. It's continuous. But they also stress that overworking on purpose and boasting about doing so can have negative effects on workers' mental and physical health. So here they're addressing the fact that if you're overworking and boasting, so to boast is to talk about something, to say, hey, this is a good thing. So you're drawing attention to yourself that I am working incredibly hard. I should be respected and applauded, and people should notice the fact that I am working incredibly hard. Workers' mental and physical health. So they're addressing the fact that this can really affect your life. Can have negative effects on workers' mental and physical health, and subsequently maybe losing its luster. So here, luster is a very special, attractive quality that other people admire. It can also mean something that's quite shiny. So this idea that you have to be hustling and working all the time, it's losing its shiny appeal. People are recognizing the fact that, it looks shiny, it looks amazing, it looks like something that we should be believing in, but actually it doesn't work, especially among employees from marginalized groups and backgrounds. If you work incredibly hard, you should expect results. But if you come from a marginalized group or background, you may not have the same opportunities. So you could be grinding and working incredibly hard, but you may not get those opportunities. So it's not fair. There's not a level playing ground to say that just everyone can achieve something by working hard, because it depends on the opportunities that you have. Yes, you can create some opportunities, but there will be some roadblocks, and there may be more roadblocks for people that are from a marginalized group. So it could be a low economic group, so they do not have the finances to purchase books or to purchase technology or a laptop or the internet to have these opportunities. In the pandemic era, many people are reprioritizing what they want out of work and life. This is quite interesting. So during COVID, a lot of people were working from home and they were reprioritizing. So if you have a priority list of what is important at the top, it's different for each person. But when you're working for a company and you have to be working incredibly hard, and you're congratulated for working long hours. But if your health starts to suffer and you have time to reflect on that, then you can think, my health is a priority, because if I work incredibly hard, but I burn out, I have health problems, I'm going to suffer and life doesn't become enjoyable. They are quitting toxic workplaces, leaning out, strengthening boundaries, and carving more time for personal lives and hobbies. So toxic workplaces. Maybe there's a lot of office politics. Maybe they are encouraged to work long hours. Leaning out. So when you lean out, I think about health and fitness. So to become lean, you get rid of excess fat. You get rid of what you don't want. Strengthening boundaries. So being able to say, no, I cannot work extra overtime. Carving more time for personal lives. So carving, if you think about a block of stone, and if you carve out, you take out bits of the stone to reveal what's underneath. Plus, experts say economic uncertainty and greater awareness of inequality can make both the ideas and language of the rise and grind mentality feel outdated and out of touch. The economic uncertainty. So we live in a world where after COVID, we have the cost of living crisis. Prices have increased and salaries haven't really increased. So we have this uncertainty. Many people are having to take extra jobs and greater an awareness of inequality. So social media has helped in that regard, that people are more able to see the inequality. It's more visible than it is, because through social media you can share your story from around the world. So let's reflect on this article here. When you're reading through the article, I want you to be asking yourself certain questions. Here we're reading for gist. So gist is the general idea, the general meaning. Are they saying that hustle culture is a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Well, hustle culture can be good because you can be incredibly successful. You can be financially secure. Thinking about making money. Money isn't a bad thing. Yes, money doesn't necessarily buy you happiness, but it can buy you security. It can ease your worries, your stress. It can give you access to better health care. But just focusing on one area and just hustling and working very hard can be detrimental to your health and other areas of your life. So having money and being successful is of no use if other areas of your life have suffered. And to me, what's very important is, yes, working hard, but boasting about it. So being able to say, I am working incredibly long hours. So overworking on purpose. And I think a lot of people in the past were worried about losing their job. So they had to give this perception, if you're at work, you're working incredibly hard so that other people and your manager don't think that you are being lazy. But what COVID taught us is that you can be effective and you can have time for other activities. So it's about doing the work, yes, but having a balance. Now, the opposite to hustle culture is slow living. In life, you see lots of trends. So a trend is when something becomes very popular. It happens in all walks of life. It happens in fashion, technology. For example, with fashion, clothes from the 80s or the 70s may come back in style, and you think, this person is incredibly fashionable. It's the same thing with trends. So hustle culture, working very hard, may have been popular in the past, but now we have slow living. So this is the opposite to hustle culture. So slow living is when you literally slow down, your pace of life slows down, and you spend more time on the things that are important to you. Now, can you have a balance? Can you have a balance of hustle culture and slow living? What do you think? Is it possible? And let me know what you think about this article. Have you ever had periods of life where you felt, I'm hustling, I'm working incredibly hard, it's affecting my life? And how did you cope with that stress? Because in today's society, it's impossible to escape that. You have to pay for rent, you have to pay for bills, you have to pay just to survive. The cost of living is incredibly high. But I don't think it's seen as a badge of honor anymore, that look at me, I'm incredibly successful because I'm working long hours. I think there's a smarter way to work where you can be incredibly focused and you don't have to have a perfect life in all areas. So I hope you found this lesson helpful. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this lesson. If you liked this lesson, please give it a like. If you are new here, please click on the subscribe button. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.